Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let me get my hat on, and let's get this started. Alright, first question. Hey Jason, could you recommend weightlifting exercises that would be useful to a rugby player, prop forward if that helps? That transfers to power on the field, for example bench press for an explosive handoff. If I'm correct, any advice would be helpful. This is really easy, man. You guys need to give me more easy questions like this. Rugby player, push press, power clean, front squats. There you go. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do some other exercises, but if you want to be a better field athlete for any sort of contact field sport, whether it's rugby, American football, or whatever, push press. Explosiveness while handing something, push press. You want more chest development, weighted dips, or closed grip bench press, but push press. Power cleans are considered the premier exercise for judging athleticism and explosiveness in any athlete in any endeavor. This is something that all your top NFL coaches look at real closely when they're assessing the athleticism of a field player for them. And you guys got to remember, a lot of your training for NFL, American professional football, which is extremely competitive, is going to carry over to rugby. They look at the power clean. That is the number one exercise they look at of how strong a person is on the power clean. That's the most important thing that they look at. The best strength and conditioning coaches in the NFL, when they're selecting athletes, they look very closely at that. Focus on your power clean. It transfers to all around speed and power. Front squats, that's going to give you speed, explosiveness, drive on the field. And you got to remember, people say, well, why is that better than a back squat? Because it builds the legs and everything just as much. It builds the thoracic erectors a bit more. It's great for your core. And again, when you're hitting anyone on any field like that, are your hands back here or are they up here? It also makes you better at the push press. Has good carryover to your push press, which is one of your most important exercises. Therefore, the front squat is better for contact field athletes all the way around, because it's useful to one of your most important exercises, the push press, and it puts your hands in a position that's a lot closer to what they're going to be when you're on a field hitting someone. They're going to be in front of you. And it gives you just as much leg development. So, that's easy. Next question. Jason, after having knee surgery last December, my squat went from 205 pounds to 140 today with no knee sleeves. My knee acts up on occasion, and I'd like to replace high bar squats with box squats and front squats to the madcow routine. Would that help alleviate the impact on my knee? Front squats, I don't know. Honestly, you're going to have to assess it. You're going to have to talk to your physical therapist about it. That's the main thing. You had a knee surgery. I'm pretty sure you've got a physical therapist who's working with you. And if you don't, your insurance should probably be covering it in some way, at least something there. Talk to a physical therapist. Front squat, I can't tell you for sure. Okay, I just can't. I don't know. Your physical therapist can tell you more as far as your specific situation. However, box squats, we know have the lowest impact on the knee joint. All right, box squats are the safest squat to do for your knees. So if you're going to do some sort of squat, you've had a knee surgery, if you're going to be cleared to squat, I would start with box squats no matter what. I would always start with box squats for someone with a knee issue because it puts the least shearing stress on the knee. All right, it's easiest on the knee, and that's been noted by many coaches over the years, so that one's pretty easy. All right, next question. Hi Jason, is it better to perform my volume block still using DUP, being this 10x3 on volume days and 3x5 on intensity days on a cut, since I do better on high reps? 3 reps I'm currently doing on my intensity day burns me up much more, and I'd assume it'd be much harder to recover from than when I start my deficit. The thing is, maybe by decreasing the intensity, I risk losing some strength and therefore some muscle on my cut. What are your opinions? Volume block on a cut or not? I recommend that you don't do any sort of periodization on a cut. You're not a novice athlete, or you wouldn't be running DUP. Okay? I'm going to assume you're intermediate or advanced. You don't need to be periodizing at all on a cut. You're going to make minimal progress. So yeah, triples are probably out because you recover better from slightly higher reps. I wouldn't even necessarily do the 10 either. Too much metabolic fatigue. You're not going to grow much. Don't worry about that. I would say if you want to undulate anything, run 5 rep days and 8 rep days. You'll notice I'm cutting right now. I'm doing a lot of cardio. I'm staying almost exclusively in like the 4 to 8 rep range. And I don't do that much 4-rep stuff, only on deadlifts on occasion. And it's still weights I should be doing 5s, I just feel a little tired that day. But those same exercises I've been able to do 5 reps sets lately now that I'm adapting to the cutting and the cardio. But no, I generally recommend drop all periodization. You don't need to be doing undulating periodization. You don't need to be doing concurrent training when you're cutting. You need to be preserving muscle mass. Stick somewhere between 5 and 8 reps. Go to 3x5, maybe 8 rep sets on some of your accessories. Stick that out for the duration of your cut. Why wouldn't you? That will help you maintain your size and strength relatively well. No real complexity needed. Maintain, get to your desired body fat, and then go back to progressing again. This isn't rocket science. And using DUP and any sort of real periodization when your goal is fat loss on a cut, it doesn't make a lot of sense because you're not trying to avoid plateaus. The whole point of periodization is to avoid plateaus before you get to them. You can't avoid plateaus when you're losing body fat unless you're a novice. They're going to happen. You're lucky. It'd be great if you plateau. You can maintain all of your strength, all of your performance all the way through a cut. You plateau, that would be awesome. That would be ideal. So think of it in those terms. Understand why periodizations of any type exist, including concurrent training or undulating periodization, and they don't make sense on a cut. There's no point wasting your time. All right, next question. Hi, Jason. A friend of mine wants me to introduce him to strength training. The trouble is he's very obese. I'm not sure whether he has the flexibility or strength to do a bodyweight squat, but I think he could do presses, bench press, rows, and possibly deadlifts with very light weight. What should I tell him? Do you have any special advice for such people? If he's too fat and too inflexible to squat, have him squat on the back of a chair. Have him hold onto an object, squat his body weight, holding onto the back of a chair till he's strong enough and flexible enough to do a squat. All right, you're going to have to probably stretch his hamstrings a lot because if he's been sedentary, his lower back is going to hurt from doing any sort of squat, probably from any sort of deadlift. So if he's too inflexible to squat, I promise you he's got tight hamstrings, he's got have problems with his lower back. He's got to spend a lot of time stretching his hamstrings, have him squat holding the back of a chair until he is able to balance his own weight and strong enough to lift his own weight on a squat, and then have him go to body weight squats from there and eventually weights. Again, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Obese people are the easiest to work with because stuff like that actually works. You don't have to push them that hard at first. He'll start making massive changes if he's been sedentary and obese immediately. He'll gain muscle really, really fast. All right, next question. Jason, why do some people have such asymmetric abdominals? Is this hereditary, bad posture, surgery, poor training, or what? Can this be changed at all with an exercise? I mean, where the ab muscles don't even roughly line up and both feet are in a line and torso isn't flexed or twisted. Yeah, you're talking about where they're shaped like this. They're almost alternating instead of side by side. It's completely genetic. You can't even change it with a surgery. Like, that isn't caused by anything that person did in their life. They were born that way. Abdominals are not individual muscles. Abdominals are not individual muscles. It is one muscle. All your upper ab, your lower ab, all of that is one muscle. The reason they have lines is because there is connective tissue kind of pulled across, drawing into the muscle, embedded in it. It's connective tissue through there that does that. That creates those individual, what appear to be individual muscles. They're not. It's all one muscle. Just like your bicep is one muscle, there's a little bit of separation in it. There's a couple different tendons in there. But it's one muscle. Your abs are the same. It's one muscle just like your bicep is. The whole thing. So because that connective tissue is pulled across the muscle and embedded into it, it's not just running across it separately. It is connected inside the muscle, into the muscle belly. So those ridges are made by that connective tissue growing into it. You can't reach in and cut that connective tissue out of muscle. Think about if you see a steak that has certain, little pieces of connective tissue through it sometimes. You can't just remove that. You can't do anything. That's permanent. You would have to slice and destroy the muscle to even change it. Like, the muscle would be completely ruined. So it's permanent. Nothing you can do about it. It's just the way that connective tissue was formed when they were in utero, and it's most likely all genetic. And it's a permanent part of their body. That's just the way abs are. That's what they are. Nothing you can do about it. Don't worry about it. All right, next question. Jason, why didn't you include weighted carries as part of your basic movement video? Because weighted carries are general physical preparedness. They're general physical preparedness. the same muscles that you use to do a weighted carry are already covered in all the other exercises, and it's more of it's a general physical preparedness. If you can walk pretty well, if you have any cardiovascular capacity and you do deadlifts or cleans of some type, and you squat, all those muscles are built that you would use for weighted carries. But it's a form of general physical preparedness. It's GPP. It's not your primary strength training. You are never going to get anywhere near as strong off of doing weighted carries, such as a farmer's walk or anything else, that you're going to get from actually getting in and doing some deadlifts and squats. They're not going to give you the same sort of strength. It's not going to be even close if that's all you did, right? It's a great form of conditioning. It's a great form of strength conditioning. It's good for grip training. It's good as a fantastic supplemental exercise, but weighted carries cannot compete with or replace for raw strength the actual basic exercises. They don't. They're fantastic. I think they're great general physical preparedness. I think a lot of athletes benefit from them tremendously, but they're not in that series. They're not necessary for your general strength buildup. It's not the best way to go. All right, next question. Forearm pain when doing power cleans and push presses, normal? Yeah, absolutely normal. I used to complain about it a lot. Remember when I started doing push presses again regularly on camera, I would complain about my forearm pain. It's normal. You'll adapt to it eventually, but it's going to hurt. And that's the thing. You know, people always talk about, oh, I need to do extra forearm exercises. You need to deadlift, row, and push press. That's what you need to do. Lose the straps and your forearms are going to be fried. Like if you train as an actual athlete with athletic movements, and actually stuff that makes you strong and athletic, you're not going to need to do extra forearm work. Your forearms are going to be fatigued. It's going to take your forearms a lot of time to catch up sometimes. Sometimes they're going to be so fatigued that you're going to struggle. So for me, yeah, push presses, my forearms hurt a lot after. I did my last workout video. You know, I wasn't tired from that video, but I did push presses, I did deadlifts, and I did pin lay rows. At the end of that, when I was driving home, my forearms were cramping so bad that I was struggling to grip my steering wheel for about 5 minutes, so they had time to calm down. Perfectly normal. All right, next question and last question of the week. Hey Jason, do you view yourself as a red pill guy in the YouTube fitness community whose job is to unplug all the ignoramuses who still buy into lies, bullshit, and fads from bodybuilders owned by the supplement industry? Are you a Morpheus figure or are you the one? I guess that makes Cypher a BroScientist and Agent Smith as Layne Norton. Wow, that's an interesting question. That's kind of funny. Yeah. In a way, maybe I'm a Morpheus type figure, I don't know. But notice how much I'm hated. Notice the whole system that has come out against me and the way that they attack. Remember how Morpheus and all these people were listed by all these people? He's a terrorist. He's a known terrorist. They just made all that up. They totally missed what he was, misrepresented what he was. Same stuff's done all to me. Look at all the stuff people say about me in the industry, people around the industry, people who pretend they're not working for the industry, but people who do work for the industry directly, YouTubers, other people. Look at the things they say about me. And that sound the same way. I'm dangerous to their system, just like Morpheus was dangerous to the Matrix. Now, is this as bad as the Matrix? No, but it is an entire game that is basically sucks money from people, steals money, squanders money from the ignorant to the ignoramuses who don't know any better. They're being lied to, they're being cheated, they're being conned non-stop by this industry. And yeah, I am one of the red pill people who is saying, hey guys, this isn't reality. They're selling you a lie. They're selling you an illusion, and they're taking your money and giving you false hopes and dreams. So yeah, in a way, maybe I am like a Morpheus, and maybe guys like Norton are the Agent Smiths. He sure has put a lot of resources into taking me down. He's admitted in a podcast well into 6 figures. That's his own words. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.